Saturday at 11 on WOUB.
Now it's 6:30.
The tariff uncertainty is fading away. Tariff rates are settling in.
More than 60 countries are facing steep tariffs as President Donald Trump extends his tariff deadline once again.
Plus, President Trump fires a top official in the Labor Department hours after July's job report shows the job market has slowed.
And
the financial walls just feel like they're crushing down around me.
Interest on student loan payments restarts today, meaning borrowers could be forced to pay thousands more per year. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ty Carpenter.
And I'm Josh Herner. Welcome to Newswatch.
It's been a beautiful day here in Athens, and we finally got a break from this week's heat.
To see if today's sunny skies will stick around, let's hear from forecaster Steve Nedlick.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. I mean, an absolutely beautiful day today in all of southern Ohio. We're sitting in the high 70s, and with all that sunshine, it made it feel even nicer out there. Really nothing going on the radar. We're staying pretty clear, and with the lack of rain also comes lack of clouds. Now, during the day, that again makes it feel really nice outside with all that sunshine. But once we get into the overnight hours is when that's going to cause a little bit of a problem, nothing crazy. It's going to give us a pretty chilly overnight low of 57 degrees and mostly clear skies. So if you're heading out the door tonight, make sure you get a light jacket because it could actually get pretty chilly. But then if we look into the weekend, the rain that we've been experiencing earlier in this week is going to stay away for the foreseeable future. And then these clouds that we've had popping up over the past day or so are also going to clear out. And that's going to lead to an absolutely beautiful weekend all weekend long with highs creeping up into the mid to low 80s. So make sure you have some plans to get outside this weekend and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Thank you, Steve. Nelsonville has a new council vice president and treasurer. Corey Taylor was appointed council vice president and McCray Powell as treasurer at last night's special council session. The appointments come after Nancy Sonic resigned as council vice president on Monday and Michael Mullane resigned as treasurer on Tuesday. Nelsonville still needs candidates to run to be on council for a one-month term in December and for full two-year terms starting in January. Sonic's resignation means unless people run for that one-month term, there won't be anyone on city council for the last month of the year. Interested applicants for the open council seat can apply to the council clerk.
Federal Hocking Local Schools has a new interim superintendent. George Wood will serve for the 25-26 school year. The appointment was made at a special meeting last night. Wood is coming out of retirement for the position, which opened up after former Superintendent Jason Spencer resigned in June. Wood previously worked in the school district as principal from 1992 to 2013. He also served as superintendent from 2011 before retiring in 2019. Wood reportedly accepted the position. His contract will be finalized this month.
Law enforcement is working to identify the body of a man found in the Ohio River near Meigs County. In a news release, the Meigs County Sheriff's Office says they responded to a call yesterday reporting a body floating in the water. Officials say the victim had a distinctive tattoo. A close relative of a missing person in Meigs County said the man's tattoo was similar to one the missing person has, but officials have not confirmed if they are the same person. Law enforcement has not released the name of the victim. The West Virginia State Medical Examiner's Office is working on identifying the body.
Governor Mike DeWine is calling for the state to remove prop betting from the list of legal sports bets. Proposition bets, also known as prop bets, are made on certain players or actions in the game instead of on the final outcome. This comes after two Cleveland Guardians pitchers were placed on paid leave following an investigation into illegal sports betting. DeWine says prop betting harms athletes and the integrity of the game. The governor says this proposal would only affect betting in Ohio, but says he wants to discuss the issue with other states that allow legal sports gambling. The White House says new tariffs will take full effect next week.
And the Labor Department's jobs report shows warning signs about how President Trump's trade policy is impacting the labor market. Karen Kafa has details from the White House.
The Trump administration's new tariff plan will take full effect next Thursday, August 7th, and mark a dramatic shift in modern-era U.S. trade policy. The White House ushering in a new trade era that impacts just about every country with which the U.S. exchanges goods and services. The Trump economic team arguing Friday the trade policy protects American jobs and has been generating investment in the U.S. economy.
We're creating trade deals left and right that have unlocked enormous new potential for the American economy. The tariff uncertainty is fading away. Tariff rates are settling in.
The White House said Thursday a 10% universal tariff rate will apply to countries with which the U.S. has a trade surplus or exports more than it imports. For countries with which the U.S. has a trade deficit, the floor is 15%, some even higher. That's either because they agreed to a trade framework or Trump has decided on a higher tariff. The only major trading partners that didn't see tariff rates change Friday, the United Kingdom, China, and Mexico. The UK already agreed to a framework. China and the US still in negotiations during a temporary trade truce that is set to expire August 12th, and Mexico also in a 90-day window for negotiations. The White House, meanwhile, slapping a 35% tariff on goods coming in from Canada effective immediately. But goods compliant with the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement would not be subject to that higher rate, and experts say only a small amount of trade between the two countries will be affected. Also Friday morning, the release of the July jobs report. The Labor Department said the U.S. economy created 73,000 jobs during the month of July. That is less than what economists forecast and signals that businesses are still grappling with uncertainty around Trump's trade policy. At the White House, I'm Karen Kafa.
Following this month's jobs report, President Trump took aim at the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Dr. Erica McIntarfer was fired just hours after the report was released. The report showed job growth slowed this month and payrolls decreased by 258,000 jobs in May and June. In a Truth Social post, Trump accused the BLS commissioner of manipulating the monthly jobs report for political purposes.
The president claimed McIntarfer faked the jobs numbers before the election to try and boost former Vice President Kamala Harris's chances of winning the election. Starting today, millions of student loan borrowers will start collecting interest again on their loans. The SAVE plan, introduced under former President Joe Biden's administration, lowers monthly payments and shortens the time it takes to receive student loan forgiveness, based on borrower's income, Last year, federal courts blocked key parts of the plan, and after those rulings, loan payments were paused and balances frozen. Now, experts predict borrowers will have to pay about $5,000 more per year, leaving some people worried about next steps.
I've spent my entire 20s in school, and so now in my 30s and as a young professional, I would love to have a life. The financial walls just feel like they're crushing down around me.
Experts say deciding how to deal with loans is up to the borrower. They can either start payments now or continue with forbearance, but either way, their balances will increase.
President Trump says he ordered 2 nuclear submarines be moved to strategic areas near Russia in case of an attack. The announcement comes after a Russian politician made comments about Russia having Soviet-era nuclear strike resources. The statement was in response to Trump telling the former Russian president to watch his words. Meanwhile, current Russian President Vladimir Putin announced today Russian military forces are advancing along the entire line of contact in Ukraine. Trump said his foreign envoy will travel to Russia in the coming days as he calls for an end to the conflict.
Convicted Jeffrey Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell moves from a facility in Florida to a federal prison in Texas. The move comes a week after Maxwell met in private with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Tallahassee. Details of that meeting have not yet been made public, though her lawyer has said Maxwell honestly answered every question. In 2022, Maxwell was sentenced for carrying out a scheme with Epstein to groom and sexually abuse underage girls. She is still serving her 20-year sentence, but is appealing her conviction.
The Smithsonian removes part of an exhibit on the American presidency referencing President Trump's 2 impeachments. The Smithsonian said the decision was made after a review of the museum's legacy content. The statement did not mention Trump's executive order from earlier this year that appeared to direct the museum to soften or distort certain parts of American history. In 2021, the Smithsonian placed a board in the exhibit, referencing Trump's impeachments. The Smithsonian said the board was meant to be a short-term measure to address current events at the time, but it remained in place until July. It said a future and updated exhibit will include all impeachments. Hundreds of people came out to support the latest Habitat for Humanity projects in Muskingum County. Habitat for Humanity of Southeast Ohio hosted their 5th Studathon fundraiser yesterday. Local residents came to American Legion Post 29 in Zanesville to paint the studs that will support the home. Melissa Best and Habitat were thrilled to see the community turn out.
We're really blessed in Muskingum County and really Southeast Ohio to have such wonderful partnerships and support in this community. I've heard many times before that if you treasure your community, you'll create a treasured community. So I think that's really evident today.
Bess said the event raises about $20,000 for the project. Habitat serves 8 counties in Southeast Ohio, and 90% of their homes are volunteer built.
Friendships are, a very nice added bonus.
Coming up, one all-woman motorcycle rally lets bikers create lasting connections while taking on the windy roads of Southeast Ohio. And changes in COVID-19 vaccine policy leaves many Americans confused about how to prepare this cold and flu season.
Cooler air has moved in, making for a beautiful weekend. Find out how long this nice weather will last next.
Next time on The Great American Recipe.
It's time for everyone's favorite round, the recipe swap.
I immediately panic.
Never heard of that?
I've never stuffed a fish.
Whoa.
This is what the challenge is all about, to get out of your comfort zone.
How's it going? I know you weren't expecting this today.
Little smash. Put that in the middle and crimp it. Yes.
It takes a village.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
On the next episode of Patty Hinich Explores Panamericana, I continue on my journey inspired by the Pan American Highway and head to Alberta, Canada.
This is so much fun.
Where old West traditions collide with vibrant immigrant cultures, from the ranch life of a Hollywood legend.
I want to go act in a Western.
And warrior women reclaiming their heritage. It's time to hit the trail.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
1066. England was just taken by William the Conqueror. But was William a conqueror or a war criminal? How do you go about conquering an entire country?
It must have been a really terrifying time. Burning houses, taking crops, livestock.
You couldn't be sure that you would be safe.
I really feel that William has got blood on his hands for this.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
Justice never sleeps.
I don't think this was an accident.
Precisely.
Oh, we're good.
And all of this is being done in secret.
A project of secret keeping.
There's a connection here. We'll find out what it is.
Is it murder? We need to start investigating.
You could start there. We have a match. Time is, as they say, of the essence.
Through biking, people are able to create lasting friendships, continue family traditions, and find space to decompress.
Women at the 4th annual Athena Ride for Women got the chance to put their motorcycles to the test. Newswatch reporter Talia Milowich got to see the bikes in action.
Rev your engines. Grab a friend. And take on the winding roads of Southeast Ohio. All at the Athena Ride for Women, a women-only motorcycle rally taking place throughout the Windy Nine. Bikers of all skill levels came out to the 4-day event to take on 6 trails of differing difficulty.
My grandmother rode, she had an old Indian, and so just a riding family. My son's a Harley mechanic, so it keeps on going.
Barball can't imagine not riding as she has been around bikes her whole life.
Especially when the whole family rides and still rides. I would just, like, when I finally have to give up or I do give up, I feel like I'm going to give up part of my life.
Others have only been riding for a few years and are creating their own friendships through rallies like this one.
The friendships are, a very nice added bonus to meet other women that are encouraging and supportive in that aspect and other life aspects as well.
Clark began riding just over a year ago after spending most of her time on bikes on the back of her husband's motorcycle.
So I got a little bike to practice the skills and I really kind of fell in love with it.
The event encourages women to try new things and meet new people through a shared passion.
It's been a big self-confidence boost, too, to learn a new skill and then to know that you don't have room to hesitate. You have to commit and then just follow through.
After taking off, attendees weave through the hills and curves of various roads in Southeast Ohio.
It's great to ride with other women and leave my husband behind.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Talia Milwich in Athens.
So Steve, I know you like to bike frequently. If somebody is going for a bike ride, is the weather going to be good for them?
I mean, it's going to be picture perfect. It's not going to be too hot, but there's going to be plenty of sunshine to help keep you warm.
Yes, Stephen, I know we've seen temperatures in the high 90, even close to 90. Are we going to see some of those temperatures creep back toward the end of the week?
Nothing even close to that. It's going to be amazing. And as for right now, it's really no different. We're going to be in the high 70s, really low 80s. And again, not a lot of humidity going on. It's absolutely beautiful out there because all over southern Ohio, we're seeing these awesome temperatures. But if we take a look at the radar, it's even nicer. Really nothing going on. And if we zoom out to the regional radar, nothing really even in the surrounding states is really happening. So it's a pretty pleasant weekend for a majority of our area. And with that lack of rain also comes a lack of clouds. So that's going to allow for, if the lack of humidity was going to cool you off a little bit, the sun will help keep you nice and warm in that sweet spot. Now, what we've all been waiting for is that humidity finally pushing out of our area, and it finally did that, and that's going to help keep our evenings a little more pleasant, and especially our daytime highs not feeling quite as warm, especially with all this sun we're going to have. Now, the main reason for all this is this cold front that pushed through the other day is down in the south now, and it did its job in dropping our air temperature. And now what we're really focusing on is this high pressure that's still stuck up in the Canadian area up north, and what that's going to do is push this cooler air down into our region, and that's going to create this less humid air and cooler air because it's already been cooled off by this front, and now the humidity is being pushed out. And if you have any plans this weekend to head up north and maybe be on the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, it might be a little choppy out there just because that wind's coming out of the northwest. It's going to make for pretty choppy waves. Looking into tomorrow, pretty much the same thing. This high pressure starts to drop down further and further. We're going to be dealing with some wind gusts around 5 to 10 miles an hour tomorrow. Nothing really crazy, but something you might want to take note of. And then on Sunday, it drops a little bit more into our region, more south, and that's when the winds are going to die off a little bit, so it's going to make for an even more pleasant day on Sunday. So if Saturday isn't perfect, Sunday certainly will be. As for tonight, we're going to have these wonderful overnight lows of 57 degrees. Now, the lack of clouds and the lack of humidity is going to make it feel pretty chilly, so if you have any plans tonight, make sure you grab a light jacket because it could get pretty cold out there. And then tomorrow, a high of 80. I mean, it just seems picture perfect out there, partly sunny skies, and again, another overnight low of 59, so we're really looking at a wonderful weekend. We'll slowly start to warm back up as we head over the next 6 to 10 days, but nothing crazy. We'll run 3 to 4 degrees above average for this time of year. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s, but it's nothing like we've been experiencing because we're not going to have that humidity being pulled up from the south. So it's going to be a really comfortable mid 80s next week or so for us. And then taking a look at the 7-day, we're just dealing with this really pleasant weather. 80, 84 on Sunday, and then once we look into the start of the work week next week, we do have these clouds pushed back into our area, and then the chance for rain does return on Tuesday of next week, and that's because a cold front's going to move through. So really enjoy this weekend that we have because it's going to feel amazing before some rain does move back into our region with a little bit more humidity. As you can tell, those overnight lows start to creep back up, so really make sure you get outside and enjoy the wonderful weather.
Thank you, Steve. The FDA is making major changes to warning labels on prescription painkillers. Yesterday, the agency announced opioid medications will now carry stronger safety labels to better reflect the risks of long-term use. The updated labels will also remove language that could be seen as supporting indefinite use and include new warnings about dose-related risks, withdrawal, and overdose reversal drugs like naloxone. They'll also highlight potential interactions with nerve medications as well as rare but serious risks like brain injury after overdose. The number of vaccine exemptions is rising among school children. New data from the CDC shows nearly 4% of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption for a required vaccination last school year. The report also says coverage for all vaccines, including the measles, was lower than the years before because of those exemptions. About 138,000 new school children went without one state-mandated vaccine. Experts say the majority of this year's measles cases were in unvaccinated children.
Recent changes to federal vaccine guidance are leaving many Americans confused about the latest policies, especially when it comes to COVID-19. New survey data from KFF shows some Americans are concerned about access to COVID-19 shots and whether their insurance will cover the cost. The poll found most adults in the U.S. don't plan to get a COVID-19 vaccine this fall. Earlier this year, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said the COVID-19 shot will no longer be recommended for healthy children and pregnant women. Only 1 in 5 survey respondents said the guideline changes are making people safer. The drop in demand for COVID vaccines is hitting Moderna. The company says it plans to cut 10% of its global workforce by the end of the year, leaving it with fewer than 5,000 employees. Moderna specializes in mRNA vaccines. The company's RSV vaccine is expected to get regulatory approval later this month. It would be the first mRNA vaccine approved for something other than COVID. Moderna saw its stock drop more than 20% this year. Next up, a new high school football program is making noise in Southeast Ohio. More on the Eastern Eagles' push for a state championship next.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
You tell stories.
To evolve.
To explore.
To be inspired.
Close your eyes now. Jump into the future.
This is the stuff that dreams are made of.
Right now, the world is waiting there for you.
Be the difference and be loud.
Oh, that's just the best thing ever.
The American Revolution changed the world.
It gave people a sense of hope that they have an opportunity for freedom.
We need to work together.
Oh my God, it's delicious!
Thanks for spending part of your evening with us.
An American experience. It was a fight to the finish.
The plan was to turn every Japanese soldier and every civilian into kamikaze.
Hear the untold stories of the last months of the war and find out how close we came to an even more catastrophic conclusion.
We considered ourselves dead men.
Victory in the Pacific, an American experience.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
The Eastern Eagles have only had a varsity football program for a decade, but have quickly become a premier team in Southeast Ohio.
Yeah, I attended a practice and caught up with head coach Scott Tomlinson, who has his sights set on making history this season.
Get it. These next 3 weeks, we're going to push you hard. Got it?
Scott Tomlinson's been Eastern's head coach since the team's first official season in 2015. Since then, he's led the Eagles down a road of firsts. Their first winning season in 2020, first undefeated regular season and a playoff win in 2023, and their first regional final appearance last season. But after winning 13 straight games last year by an average of 22 points, Danville outmatched the Eagles 40-6.
Losing that last game and getting our tails handed to us by Danville is a bad taste in our mouth. But now we're hungrier. It's like we were right there, we tasted it, we wanted to get to Canton. Now we're even hungrier.
This season, the message is simple. Get back and win.
We don't get comfortable. We don't let them get comfortable. We're always pushing to get better, always pushing to work hard. We're driving through the hips into the goal line. Let's go.
The big help to Eastern's push for a state championship, the Eagles only graduated 4 players from last year's team.
Our entire O-line coming back, quarterback coming back, several guys in key positions coming back. They know what we expect. They know the culture that has been laid down from the seniors and the classes before them. So it's an expectation. They know what's up.
The quarterback Tomlinson is talking about is senior Eric Manley Jr. While this is only Manley's 3rd season playing football, the 6'6 gunslinger threw 42 touchdowns last year, leading the Eagles to their best offensive season in program history.
Week 1 last year against Miller, I didn't feel I played my best game, and that showed on the stat sheet, and that showed in a double overtime thriller, and I thought I didn't want to do that anymore, so I decided to lead our team to a 13-1 record.
Manley completed just 12 of his 31 passes and didn't score any touchdowns in the Miller game. From then on, in addition to his 42 touchdowns, Manley put up 3,000 total yards.
You get the little things down, just perfect your craft, and that's all you can do is outwork everybody, and that's what I try to do.
Even with the talent returning, Eastern's path to Canton has a big-time roadblock. After this year's OHSAI realignment, the Eagles find themselves in the same region as perennial powerhouse Marion Local, a program with the longest win streak in the country at 64, with 4 consecutive state championships. Coach Tomlinson says the competition doesn't scare them, it motivates them.
They moved us to a new region, which is definitely a much tougher region, and we've already told them, no excuses, who cares? It's like we got to see them teams in the Final Four or see them in the who cares when we see them? We want that. We want to play the better schools. Go again! Next one drops the ball, we got 10 burpees. We ain't putting the ball on the ground. Let's go.
For seniors like lineman Brewer Tomlinson, the goal is simple. Do what's never been done before.
I've never been that far. Not very many teams in this area really get that far. It's never been done here, and of course, I really want to put my footprint, my team's footprint in. It's my last year, so take my team somewhere we've never been.
The Eastern Eagles will get their first test August 22nd, where they will play the South Point Pointers on the road. We'll be right back. In the meantime, here's a look at what's coming up next on WOUB.
Than perhaps ever before. On Masterpiece Mystery.
You'll apologise.
No, I won't.
Of course you will. They're here.
I feel like we're meeting the Queen.
Oh, sweet mercy. It's Wilbur Church.
You're putting everyone around you in danger.
Don't go. I have a terrible feeling about all of this. Hello?
All will die today. Grantchester, the season finale on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
Miss Austin.
Miss
Scarlett.
Miss Austen was sister to the great lady novelist Jane Austen.
What's she doing here?
My name's...
I know exactly who you are.
The lady detective. It's Scarlett, isn't it?
Miss Austen.
Miss Scarlett!
Miss Austen.
Miss Scarlett.
Come along.
So guys, there's the Athens County Fair this week, and I'm hoping there's some pretty good weather for it.
I won't be in town to go see it, but I've heard a lot of people in Athens County look forward to that. Ty, when I was at a football practice this week, all the guys were talking about how excited they were for the fair.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I won't be here either, but I'm hoping it's some good weather for people who are watching.
They're definitely in luck because we got all that humidity pushed out of here, and that cold front came through, so we're looking at less humid air and cooler temperatures, so it's going to be amazing. As for tonight, though, we're going to still be pretty chilly, an overnight low of 57 degrees. And again, those lack of clouds and that lack of humidity is going to make it feel pretty cold out there. And then looking into the weekend, I mean, it's picture perfect. We got 80 tomorrow, 84 on Sunday, really no rain to speak of. And then we have some clouds slowly start to move back in for Monday. We're going to be in the mid 80s before another front moves through and reintroduces that humidity back into our area along with that rain. So make sure you get out and enjoy this weekend because we're going to have some rain heading our way about midway through next week.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Steve Nedlick and Talia Milowich, I'm Ty Carpenter.
And I'm Josh Herner. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Newswatch will return September 8th, but until then, you can visit WOUB.org to stay up to date on the latest news in Southeast Ohio.
For more than 70 years,